Hello and welcome to ScrewyLoops for another episode of Before You Ride, where we give you everything you need to know about a coaster, who it's suitable for, who may enjoy it, whether it's worth a 100 plus, up to 60 or less than 20-minute wait, and finally whether it's worth making a trip at all. You're watching ScrewyLoops and this is Before You Ride Nemesis at Alton Towers. Nemesis is an inverted coaster built by Bolliger and Mabillard, otherwise known as B&M, way back in 1994, and this is a coaster which is widely regarded as one of B&M's greatest hits. Although the project was dubbed as Secret Weapon 3, Nemesis was actually the first secret weapon to be built, with Secret Weapon 1 and 2 never seeing the light of day. This coaster is also renowned to many for being the pinnacle of John Wardley's theme park career. For those who don't know John, he's what I like to call an Imagineer of rollercoaster design. Think Walt Disney, but instead, all that magic is cast upon creating some of the most ambitious and thrilling coasters of today. He's helped design many other top coasters such as Megaphobia, Dragon Khan and Vampire. The biggest question is, however, being 25 years old, does this B&M bombshell still live up today? Nemesis has a very unique design. Due to the park's tree height restriction, Alton Towers had to build downwards. They did this by blasting the living daylights out of the surface using TNT, thus creating the unique landscape we see around Nemesis today. Because of this landscape, the layout needed to be cleverly thought out. This coaster broke all the rules in the book, especially back then. Coasters typically descend the largest drop straight after the lift hill, and also enter the vertical loop element after this, but not on Nemesis. In fact, it's so difficult to pinpoint where the largest drop actually happens, and the vertical loop, well, that's actually one of the final elements within the layout. It was a refreshing approach to roller coaster design, and to this day Nemesis still stands out because of this. Upon entering the queue, Nemesis is still dubbed as the world's most intense ride experience. While it is a very intense and forceful roller coaster, I can't agree with that statement, but you can kind of get the message Nemesis is trying to portray. It's not a force to be reckoned with. Nemesis is clearly marketed towards thrill seekers, and with its 1.4 metre height restriction, this is clearly a coaster designed for an older audience. Is Nemesis particularly scary? This definitely varies from person to person. If you're afraid of heights but okay with high intensity compact coasters, then yeah, you'll be fine. It's all very low to the ground and void of any massive drops. In fact, I'd also say if you're afraid of going upside down, you'll be alright with Nemesis too. The elements are executed fairly quickly, barely giving you a chance to realise you're actually inverting. Makes for a good first inverting coaster actually. The queue line, like Wicker Man, offers some amazing views of the surrounding layout. It's one of the only coasters that I appreciate getting along a queue, since sections are regularly blocked off on quiet days. These sections in particular make for some great filming and photo opportunities, which you'd never normally be able to get otherwise. They've been extra creative with the station and scenery, making use of small waterfalls to create pools of water at the bottom, really cool. Theming the station to a vibrant alien life form, and even creating fake track to branch off from parts of it, giving it more of a destructive feel. The theming on Nemesis is really well done. It's not as forced upon you like Wicker Man's theming, but it adds a sense of mystery which I love. The inside of the station, however, is looking very dated in my opinion. It bears more resemblance to a rusty old warehouse than the inside of an alien. I'd love to see this enhanced in the future to keep with that alien theme. The soundtrack is still an absolute classic, there's no denying that. Once in the station, it gives you the option to queue for the front. If it is your first time, then 100% go for the front. You'll never get that first time experience again. And believe me, it's arguably the best seat in the house. For the most intense experience, I recommend sitting towards the back. The reason I say towards the back is because on my last several visits, the back row had been reserved for disabled and priority pass users only. But believe me, row 6 is still just as intense as back row, so you won't be missing too much. As for the trains and restraint system, they're almost perfect. B&M coasters genuinely have some of the most comfortable seats in the industry, and I think those classic OTSRs are great. Why B&M are favouring the vest restraints now is beyond me. Each click offers a nice amount of leeway, giving you that room to breathe. If you're a bit larger on the chest and shoulders, however, this can be less forgiving. I always find myself fighting for arm room too, but overall they do the job nicely. As for the ride experience, does this still deliver today? And the answer is a resounding yes. Whilst inverted coasters aren't quite as popular today as their boom in the 90s and early 2000s, the unique design and punchy intensity of Nemesis still makes it feel fresh today. And consider its 25 years of operation, Nemesis still provides a smooth ride. Sure, it's not buttery smooth, but come on, Nemesis is meant to have that bite. It rumbles with personality and really makes you feel like you're riding a monstrous beast. As I mentioned though, it's that unique design that really makes Nemesis shine. It's a layout brimming with unpredictability, you're always wondering which way you're going next, and the fact it's all so close to the ground adds extra fire to the chaos. Yes, there it is, Nemesis is a chaotic coaster, and because of that it is brilliant. My favourite moment defines its fierce nature. Just after you gracefully swoop out to the initial corkscrew, things begin to get a bit spicy. You then enter the 1-2 punch combo of a super sustained force-packed helix into a blissfully snappy 0G roll. You can really feel the G's around that helix. You get so close to the surrounding scenery that the wind clashing with the train deflects into the flora and water, like a display of nature dodging bullets in a battleground. Nemesis is not a force to be reckoned with. The force combined with a sporadic flash of the camera and whip of the 0G roll makes for a truly euphoric moment. One of my favourites on any coaster ever, in fact. The other highlight for me is the vertical loop. Not only is it perfectly shaped to produce just the right amount of sustained G's, it's also a marvel to look at. Seriously creates one of the most iconic photo ops on any UK coaster. As for the rest of the layout, it's all paced very nicely, with a couple of moments to catch a breath here and there. Trust me, you need it. And for the weak points, there really isn't any from my point of view. Maybe it could be a little longer, but it has just the right length to keep you coming back for more without overdoing it. So is this coaster worth a 100 plus up to 60 or less than 20 minute wait? This goes without saying. If it's your first time at Alton Towers or you have yet to do Nemesis, then this is absolutely a 100 plus minute wait in my opinion. If it ever reaches that, which it doesn't. And finally, is it worth making the visit at all? Regardless of who you are, if you want to experience classic B&M at its best, a true inverted masterpiece, then you absolutely need to make a trip to Alton Towers, as Nemesis is a special kind of coaster. And not only that, Alton Towers is pretty much a haven for B&M classics, so if you've never been, then it definitely deserves a spot on your list of parks to do at some point. What are your thoughts on Nemesis at Alton Towers? Comment below, I'd love to know. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit that like button, smash subscribe for more content like this, and give the bell a flick to keep all up to date. I recently asked you guys what movie you would like to see made into an attraction, and my favourite comment was this. Massive shout out to Melissa over on Twitter for this one. I've always thought that door sequence for Monsters Inc. would be perfect as a suspended coaster. For more shout out opportunities, make sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter, links in the description below. Top left is the latest video, bottom left is a random one, and make sure to hit that button over on the right for the ride of your lives. You've been watching ScrewyLoops, try a bit.